Welcome to the Ridir Gaming Escape From Tarkov review, where we're going to try and keep you from doing this. What the Let's get started. You've got to be kidding me. Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Wes from Ridir Gaming, and today we're talking about Escape from Tarkov. So hopefully new players who are looking to get into this game don't do what I did during the intro and die a whole lot. The point of this video is not for you to learn the entire game because it's way too in-depth. It's a hardcore game where there's tons of detail and a ton of attention to detail. This is simply to let you know what the flavor of the game is, some big wave top ideas of the game, and then let you start diving in to more in-depth guides. Guys like Deadlyslob and Pestily both do awesome game guides, and if you really want to have more in-depth knowledge, go there. But if you want to know kind of what the wave tops of the game are, please stick around, enjoy the video, and we're going to get started right now. So I'll come around fast on this one. This game is a ton of fun, but man is it a time sink. If you're a professional streamer or gamer, this game is great. If you're more of a casual, you can be sure that it will frustrate you and leave you feeling like it should give you a little bit more of a chance. I'll put it this way. I have played this game almost triple the number of hours that I played the last 4 games I reviewed combined and still barely scratched the surface. There's no tutorial, there's no in-game HUD, there's no hand-holding whatsoever. You don't get easy raids to start with. You jump in as a level 1, you might face a level 42 player with full kit, awesome weapons, and the best ammo. I really suggest doing offline recon of each map to locate all the extraction locations and have a good idea of where all the player spawns are for all factions. Otherwise, you're just wasting time and increasing the chances of failure in an actual raid. There is a Sherpa program available at the official website. I'll link it down below, and that can help you get oriented to each map and figure out what you're doing game to game. For the actual game itself, it's an above average looking game. I really appreciate how good the game looks, and I can use shadows to see if somebody's like around a corner. This game looks top quality until you really start getting around other players, and then I personally start getting a little stutter introduced to my system periodically. Character movement still needs plenty of work, but it suffices for now. It's a beta. I can harp on it, but really, if I'm not looking for Frostbite engine quality, I'm looking for an engine that plays well, and this does play the game very well. It looks good, it plays decently. There's always going to be something that bugs me. Right now, like the biggest thing is seeing muzzle flashes through walls, but other than that, I'm okay, and you're going to hear those shots anyway. And that leads us directly into sound. This game has amazing sound quality. Footsteps, gear being utilized, firefights, reloading, bandaging wounds, drinking a Red Bull, it's all in there and it's all unique to the actual products. Battlestate Games have really gone all out to make the sound effects as authentic as possible. Background and ambient sounds, the lobby has a mixture of rock and other rock, and it's not bad, but it's not what I would choose. Then again, it's for particular atmospheric. In raids though, there's no music, no soundtrack, no heightened tension cues. It just has the sounds from where you are. If you're outside and there should be birds, there's birds. If it's raining, you hear the rain and it drowns out all the other sounds like footsteps. This attention to detail is one of the most enamoring pieces. Inside buildings, the sound changes. If it's a factory or warehouse and it's empty, you might hear an echo or some residual noises you'd expect. With hearing protection on, your hearing gets muffled, unless it's like a Peltor style, and then it enhances footsteps and lowers the sounds of gunshots, balancing the decibels out. Let's step back and set the scene, because Battlestate Games has done a pretty nice job here. Imagine it's 2028 and you're in northwest Russia around a small city named Tarkov. Special Economic Zone was established to be a gateway between Europe and Russia, and several European corporations had been kind of shady. Russia wanted to investigate, and the corporations led by the terror group hired a PMC, also known as a private military corporation, USEC, to protect their interests. The Russians responded by hiring the Bear Group. Shooting started after a few months and the area was sealed off. The UN and Russian border forces enforced a strict border control, and those inside were trapped. That left the Bears, the USEC, and the local populace turned scavs in a small area, all trying to escape. I want you to think about Running Man here. We, the players, start with 2 playable characters. The main character, which is the PMC contractor with permanent traits, stash space, hideout, and task. And the second one, which is actually a series of one-and-done player scavs with no permanent traits, with random gear and health, and spawn at random times in the raid. If a player successfully extracts with the scav, they can transfer everything over to their main character, but they cannot complete tasks with the scav. These temporary player characters are a great way for low risk and low to medium rewards, including getting better gear and money runs. The PMC character or main character has all the traits and retains any experience earned in raids such as endurance, covert movement, stamina, dealing with stress, treating injuries, and weapons proficiency. These traits, as well as stash space, hideout, task, and health, all carry over from raid to raid. If the PMC character dies during a raid, they lose everything. That is, everything that isn't in their alpha, gamma, or other special containers. PMC progression is through two main avenues: in-raid experience and trader tasks. They also unlock additional tiers for each of the traders, allowing access to bigger and better weapons, gear, mods, and armor. So what makes this game so addicting, and why is it blowing up so much right now? Battlestate Games is an independent developer and publisher that wants to make a good game right the first time. Yes, it's in beta, and yes, if you buy early access, you get into the game just like if it were released right now. But don't get that confused with it actually having gone gold. There's still a ton of issues, but it plays better than a lot of our normal AAA shooters. No, it's not as fluid as Apex Legends, and it doesn't have the same familiar feel of Call of Duty or Halo, but it's not meant to be played like those games. In fact, in a 20 or 30 minute raid, not getting into a gunfight means I, personally, am much more likely to survive. This game actually feels like it should be like a combination of Fallout and one of the original Call of Duty. Half the battle here is really just starting. There are a ton of tiny details that make this game really good. Weapons are fun, they're fully customizable, and I mean fully. If you had ever wanted to be a gunsmith but lack the time and dedication, this is about as close as you'll ever get. You get different barrel lengths, muzzle devices, handrails, optics, iron sights, lasers, grips, stocks, it just goes on and on. It's like a gun builder's paradise. Then there's a large gathering of armor, helmets, backpacks, hearing protection, eye protection, and yeah, that just keeps going too. The single most important part of the gunplay though are the bullets, and there is nothing in this game that tells you what the best round or caliber is. I'm just going to post some links to the charts I use in the description below. You can have the single best M4 fully decked out looking sweet, but if you're shooting the wrong ammo, it won't even dent a player in full armor before he puts a few through your tiny steel helmet. Gunplay is only half the battle though. The other half of the shooter lives and dies on the map. Currently there are 7 maps out: Shoreline, Factory, Interchange, Customs, Woods, The Lab, and Reserve. Each one is a little bit different, or a lot different, and gives its own feel and vibe, but still made very well. For example, Woods is a medium-sized map with large open areas, a bowl in the middle with a few buildings. It connects to the factory, which is a tiny little map with multiple levels, open spaces, long and short tunnels, small offices, dark and dank, with quick action and great sightlines. Customs is a map with warehouses, a bridge, dorms, trains, long sightlines, and a few really harsh choke points designed to force players and NPCs to find each other. Each map offers players multiple routes across the terrain, but some are viable and some are just asking to get shot at. Personally, I believe the game offers plenty of concealment to move through and cover is often plentiful. In general, Tarkov has superbly designed maps, but there are some small things that can be changed to balance things out. Raids and Escape from Tarkov are dynamic to say the least. The amount of PMC players on a map varies from map to map and round to round, the smallest being 4 and the largest at 14. This doesn't include NPC scavs that will shoot you on sight, or player scavs who will probably shoot you as well. Generally, you're dropped on one side of the map, you have tasks from the traders, and you have no in-game resources really telling you where to go or what's what. There are clues in the task, and maps are available from the trader named Therapist, but in reality, your best resource for this game is good old Google and Wikipedia. As you spot a person walking in a raid, you're not sure if it's player or an NPC. Hint, the NPCs stand up and walk around are just generally meh, but they won't shoot you if you're a player scav if you haven't shot first. However, if you're a PMC, everything's just going to shoot you. Shoot first and ask questions later if you're just getting into this game, because everybody does it. Getting into gunfights during raids, it really combines the two aspects that we just talked about. Taking those guns and the ammunition and taking knowledge of the maps so that you can get yourself into positions of advantage and you can ambush somebody else. But you're in a raid, you just shot someone, you can take almost everything they have on them: guns, armor, helmet, face masks, backpacks, everything but their alpha or gamma crate and their melee weapon for PMCs, and literally everything from an NPC or player scav. Now you just have to extract. And this is probably the most nerve-wracking time of all, because you have all this stuff and you want to get out. You've only got 1 grenade, 40 rounds, and you know you might just run into a walking fortress or 6 scavs and not be able to make it out. But sometimes you will. Now, what do you do with everything that you just extracted? Well, it's Tetris time. For those that have never played a game that relies on stash space, this game will make you wish you played Tetris as a kid. No matter how much space you have, you're going to want more. And you can get more through the use of boxes you earn or buy, but mastering what you have and what you need is more important than just hoarding everything. The stash is the most important non-shooting part of this game, but only a small aspect of the hideout. In fact, the hideout is part of the driving force for why I keep playing this game. I want to continue building and improving my hideout, improving the heating, sanitation, and medical station. It's actually pretty awesome, and this is why I think it kind of relates to Fallout. It has its own requirements, so not only do you need to do the quest and the task from the traders to help you improve your standing and get more gear, but you need to also go through and get more items for your hideout to improve it and continue working on its resources. And this isn't without benefit. The more that you improve your hideout, the faster that you heal, the more energy that you regain quicker. It's the whole thing kind of works together. In fact, you could probably spend more time in the hideout manipulating that than necessarily going into the raids. I'm sure this is exactly what Fallout 4 and Fallout 76 tried to do and just weren't able to bring to life yet. Now, parents, ye be warned, this is not a game for the faint of heart. This is a mature game only. This game is intended for players who understand real life consequences. I wholeheartedly recommend keeping this one away from minors. It's a brutal game. Your character gets shot and their vision starts fading. They take pain medications to keep the pain away. They have to bandage themselves up. There's blood spray patterns. Players shot in the leg. That leg is injured, possibly bleeding out, and they need a bandage to stop the bleeding. Maybe they need a splint to fix a fracture. And then there's also additional medical supplies to hopefully be able to heal up a little so that they can extract. This game doesn't let you hide behind a crate and regen your health automatically. The player has to take into account and prioritize their healing. Does that bleeding need to be stopped, or do I need to shoot the guy that's shooting me? Here's a hint. If somebody is shooting at you, always return fire first and then patch yourself up. And then they have to go through and decide, do I need painkillers? Do I need a splint? Do I need a bandage? Do I just need to heal everything? These are all choices for the players, and you have to choose quickly in this game. It doesn't give you a lot of time to decide. I'm sure if I put this on the Escape From Tarkov subreddit, I'll get flamed for missing something vital to the game. But in reality, I just really want to talk about why this game is fun and why sometimes it isn't. Let's start with some of the bad, and then we'll move into the good. First and foremost, there's no tutorial. There's literally nothing that holds your hand and introduces a new player to the game. You either need a friend who's been playing or good old Google to pick up on some of the more subtle things in the game, or you can use the maps as they're intended, which I don't recommend because they take up too much space. And there's so many keybinds, it's insane. I could see them using the Contractor Wars as a tutorial to introduce people to the game, and this would easily let them go through the mechanics of the game before getting into the actual Escape From Tarkov portion of it. My second complaint are that thermal scopes are a little overpowered right now, and it really can just be defeating when you've had a good run and you just get blasted with somebody that's got a thermal. The third thing is that, and this has been toned down a bit already, that some of the scavs, NPC scavs, just are aimbot scavs. I mean, they're just insane. The fourth one, server latency right now is just dreadful, but Battlestate Games is working diligently on this, and they're actually compensating players for having really poor server latency as they try and fix this on both the internal and back end to make the entire process a little bit better. In my opinion, they just weren't expecting to have this many people continue to play. Fifth, and probably the most important one, is there's no voice over IP internal to the game, so you can't make friends in a raid or in a game. You need to find a Discord or group prior to launching the game. Really, this just makes everybody shoot first, shoot again, maybe shoot a third time, ask the questions after it's all said and done, and then probably just shoot the dead body to make sure it's dead. My sixth point on this one, bots currently dominate the marketplace. They immediately buy all the limited resources, think of all the good bullets, all the good gear, and then resell it for enormous markups. This isn't everything. There are some random bugs throughout, and there's also the fact that you could put the similar level people together, but I don't want a skill-based matchmaking either. Maybe something more akin to account experience instead of, like skill-based. There are many great things about this game as well, and they far outweigh the bad. This game is a lot more polished than AAA games that get re-released on an annual basis. Once you have a good understanding of the game, it becomes second nature to check your magazines, weapons, gear. Knowing what you need makes it easier. Having good aim and good bullets will outplay campers easily who are too scared to actually go out and play the game. The weapons building part of this game is absolutely stunning. I'm in love with modding my weapon and having so much fun with them. Yes, there are best in slot items all over the place, but I just like building and tinkering with them, and I can take down scavs easy enough. The reward from successfully accomplishing the task and extracting is a ton of fun. It feels like you accomplished something, unlike, say, an EA game that is just behind a paywall or a grind wall. If you're really good at this game, you can unlock and accomplish feats quickly. If you're a casual, it might take more time. Playing with friends is not required, but makes the game much more enjoyable. Just having a second person watching your back while looting, or having a group of 4 being able to move and know someone is covering you, makes the game less stressful and chances of success even better. That being said, those that behave like it's Call of Duty, I'd let them run point so you can find out who's shooting at you. Now when it comes to monetization, there's several tiers for Escape From Tarkov. I originally purchased the lowest tier and recently upgraded to the Edge of Darkness, which is the top tier. Not because I love the game, well, I do, but because I wanted to support the developers. Basically, I bought the game a second time. I don't know why, maybe it was a whiskey. I always buy stuff I shouldn't whenever I drink. I originally purchased the $45 standard edition and played the game just fine. I didn't need anything else. The Left Behind edition, which is the next tier up, costs $75 and just gives additional gear. The Prepare for Escape edition, which costs $100 with even more gear, starts the player off with a good standing with all the in-game traders. And the Edge of Darkness edition, which is $140, has a ton of gear, a huge stash size, and access to all future DLC, which at this rate, I'm not sure what that's going to look like because they just keep adding more and more into the base game. But the good news is there's no microtransactions, no season passes, no price gouging past the Edge of Darkness to get extra stash space. I really enjoy this game. It has gone through, it drives my wife nuts because I get really upset whenever I get killed in the game, and I usually get upset more because I knew I shouldn't have taken that route. I knew I should have been more patient with this, or I get shot in the head by somebody I never saw and I don't know where it's from and I need to go back and do a map study. Like, this game requires a lot of attention to detail. It requires a lot of finesse. If you pay attention and you want to do well, you'll do well in this game. But this isn't a pick it up, play a couple rounds of shipment on Call of Duty and then put it back down. It's not the same style. You need to have intimate knowledge of the game, and that's something that I really enjoy about it. There are other things that, yes, you can always nitpick and you can always make a game better. They're going to do that. They're going to make Escape from Tarkov better. We've already seen that from the developers. They've taken a product which was running horribly at the beginning and made it into a game which could, by EA standards, be released right now. But they haven't released it and made it gone gold yet because they're not pleased with how it's playing yet. And they're going to continue to make it better. So yes, I recommend this game for adults. I do not recommend this game at all for kids. It's an absolute not. I won't even play it when my kids are awake. Anyway, this has been Wes from Ridir Gaming. I really enjoyed doing this review today. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Did you enjoy Escape from Tarkov? Is this going to help you make a decision playing Escape from Tarkov? I'm really curious. You can also follow Ridir Gaming on Instagram, on Twitter. There is a Twitch channel, but we don't get to stream because we're about to move. So anyway, this is Wes, Ridir Gaming. We'll see you next time.